Is waiting for a man's true potential dangerous for women? It's waiting for a man's true potential dangerous for women. I'll go ahead and play this clip.
Is it risky to wait for a man to be the best version of himself? Or should you take it as, if I don't want to marry him right now, I'm good? Like, how long should a woman be waiting for that?
I think that when two people are already grown, I don't think you should get with someone for the potential of it at all. And guys will actually resent you for it. The whole time that Ken was telling me that he was going to work on these things, I didn't even realize that he had tons of resentment.
Yeah.
That he had to work on those things.
Mm-hmm. If they had it, they would have showed you that to begin with, but they don't have it. And so now they're working on something that's not within them to begin with. And now they're resenting you because they do want to be with you, but you're trying to make him into something that he's just not. And so he's trying his best, but his best is not good enough because it will never produce something that he doesn't already have, right? A woman dating for potential is dangerous because, number one, you really might be wasting your time.
You are.
And time is very valuable. And then number two, you don't know how he feels about you telling him, well, maybe in a year, once this is happening and this is happening, we don't know if it's going to happen. And now he's feeling like he's never going to measure up. And when men's egos are hurt, they get they're
defensive.
dangerous people. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Right, let's go ahead and get into this topic, man. Is it waiting for a man's true potential dangerous for women? I'm going to go ahead and start with you first, Voice. What are your thoughts about that? You agree? Is it dangerous for a woman to wait on a man's potential?
You know what? I think so, because I just go by a person shows you who they are. The first time a person shows you who they are, believe them. And as a true statement. So pretty much is what she's talking about is trying to change somebody. You're trying to make him do something that he wouldn't normally do. And then people end up resenting you because it's not the person who they really are. It's not natural to them. You know, so if that's not something that's natural to somebody, then I wouldn't date somebody if I'm just dating for potential. No, I got to see, I like these things about this person. This is why I want to date or start a relationship with this person. Pretty much for me. That's my opinion.
Okay. So it is dangerous.
It is. Because most of the time it doesn't last.
Give me an example of a potential that you're not waiting for that you think is dangerous.
Like a woman, let's say a woman that she's like with the guy, and he may not show her so much attention. He's not as attentive to her, doesn't call her back, doesn't text her as much, but she keeps calling. You like, oh, trying to get him to, well, you don't do this enough, and I feel like this attention you're not giving me, or kind of like nagging him or trying to get him to do things that he wouldn't normally do, pushing him to do stuff, and then that kind of pushes him away too, because it becomes like a tit for tat game. Like if I'm trying to get something out of you that's not, because like squeezing something and nothing else is coming out, then it's no reason to continue that relationship. So I would think so. That's a dangerous thing, to date somebody for potential, because if you don't have anything in common with that person, there's no potential there.
Trev, before you answer that question, what do you think about what Voice said? Do you agree with her? Yeah, Trev.
Yeah.
Slightly. I'd say yeah, and mostly yeah.
Did you hear what she said, Trev?
I did.
Okay.
That's why I said slightly.
Okay, can you expand on that a little bit for me?
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of nuances with this particular question, right? Firstly, I think it's kind of weird to even feel confident with a man who is subject to change from a woman, right? First of all, a man is going to be who he is. He should be who he is. He should be a leader, first of all. That's what I really feel like. That's the first thing. If you're not on your grind by yourself and you need a woman to push or pressure you or motivate you, not to say that a woman can't support you. That's absolutely great if a woman can support you. But now to pressure you or to try to make you do things that you normally wouldn't do, like you're not autonomous, that's kind of weird to me. If you need a woman to push you in that direction, that's the first part that kind of made me feel a little weird. And then she said something crazy at the end about a man that can resent you for it is dangerous. I mean, what are we really talking about? Why? No matter what, it's always like women have to present men as a threat, right? It's because a dude might be lazy, maybe he's not motivated now, he's just a threat. I don't believe in that either. Like he's just not up to it, and there's nothing wrong with that. You also have to pay attention to the trajectory of a man, right? So if he is about his business, he might not be where he is right now, but his potential could be great, right? He might not have any money right now, but this dude is in school to be a doctor. So like he gonna be broke that time. A lot of college school people in grad school, college, they broke. They eating the noodles, man. Ain't nothing they can do about it. But you see what path he's on, right? And that's the best chance you have at having a man for a long term, because he understands that you was with him during the grind season, right? That's that whole she wasn't shooting with me in the gym, right? If she's sitting there with you when you had nothing and she can grow with you, then that makes sense. Now, there's another part to that, because if women are a little bit up in the age, you can't expect her to be waiting on a man like that. If it's a woman that's dating that's in her 30s, that's in her 40s, she's going to have to date a little older too. And those men should be established by that point, right? They should be mature enough. Whatever it is that she's looking for in that particular man should be there when he's in his 30s, when he's in his 40s. But a guy in his 20s, I mean, relationships is a risk no matter what, because a person is subject to change at you at any time. You just have to discern as much as you can, pay attention to the signs, ask the right questions, have the right conversations, see how this person is living, see if they have a good moral character, see if they're on a trajectory to success, and you work with them. I'll leave it there for now.
So Trev, and I wanted to come right behind you because
Pause.
what we have here is a severe lack of understanding between the sexes right now. What I just heard in that video, and then Voice wrapped it up in a pretty bow. When women talk about dating men, and this is where the whole dangerous aspect of it comes from too. I'm gonna explain it to you. When they think about dating a man for potential, they're not talking about the potential he sets for himself. You know what I mean? Like a man who says, I'm going to be a doctor one day, and he sets that standard for himself, and they're dating him on the potential of the roles that he said he's going to do. When they say I'm dating him on potential, they're dating him on the potential of shit they want him to do. For example, the very first example Voice gave was, oh, he doesn't call me. I would love for him to call me more often. He didn't tell you he was going to call you. He didn't tell you he was going to do any of that. How are you dating him on potential when he never said he was going to do any of those things? Here's the problem. And I'm about to tie it right back around to the lady in the video. When she said, oh, it gets dangerous because they resent you. They're not resenting you because you're holding them to a standard that they already placed on themselves. They resenting you for you trying to make them into something they don't want to be.
That's true. Yeah.
So when you say, oh, when you start nagging a man and trying to make him do the shit you want him to do, that's not dating somebody on potential. That's just you trying to control someone.
Giving somebody expectations
that they never told you they would do. They never set that standard. They never told you they were going to be this thing, and yet you're trying to force it on them. And in that case, because those type of issues tend to be very volatile, when you try to make somebody do something they neither had any desire doing or don't want to do, yes, it can get very dangerous. But the problem is ladies, y'all got to stop saying that's dating on potential. That's not dating on potential. That's you trying to control him. Dating on potential is him working his way to being a journeyman, or he's working to become or he's trying to graduate school, or he wants to be a doctor one day and he's on his pathway to doing it. That's dating on potential. Dating on potential ain't you trying to, oh, well, I want you to be a doctor. And he's like, well, I'm trying to be an electrician. Well, I'm going to stick around with you until you become a doctor. So why don't you keep doing it? Then you start telling him, hey, I got these doctor forms, this medical school shit that you need to fill out. Oh, you don't want to fill it out? Why aren't you filling it out? Because he's trying to be an electrician. He's not trying to be a doctor. So that's what it is. And that's why when women think about that shit, they say, oh, it's dangerous. No, you're trying to force him to do some shit he don't want to do. And yes, that can get very dangerous.